The information's out, doxing. AJ was the prey, foxing. But the truth of the matter, guys, is Jake Paul exposed boxing. Yeah, baby, yeah. Everybody on top, baby. Yeah, man, fuck it, dude. Man, guys. Now, this fight, I would say it almost surprised me, but it didn't. Because, like, I did make that video yesterday, guys. And the video got a lot of negative comments because that's what you guys think. Of course, everyone thought AJ was going to school him. But in the video, I'm going to put exactly what I just said. I'm going to play the clip of what I said verbatim in this video so you guys know what I said. Here's what I think's going to happen, guys. I do think Anthony Joshua is going to get the finish. And I think a lot of it is going to have to do with when they're both tired, he will be size mogging him, bro. He'll be in the clinch, just bullying him, backing him up against the ropes. I can see Jake Paul being on the defensive, on the retreat the entirety of the time, you know, and then eventually gets broken by AJ and finished. I just think people are going to be a little bit surprised about how good Jake Paul does early on in the fight. That's the part that I feel like people aren't going to fully understand. Early on, Jake Paul's going to be ready. He's going to be quick. He's going to shock a lot of people. He might even steal around, you know. I just want you guys to know this fight's probably not going to be as easy as you think. And Jake Paul's a legit opponent. Jake Paul's a legit fighter. He's not some fraud. He's not some nobody. Jake Paul's going to go in there. He's going to make it a fight for as long as he can before ultimately getting finished by the bigger, stronger, and more experienced boxer. But let me know what you guys think down below. But essentially, I knew that Jake was going to surprise a lot of people. I knew that Jake was going to be on his bike. He's going to make it competitive, and he's even going to steal around. Jake Paul won the 4th round against Anthony Joshua soundly on every scorecard. He schooled him. Jake Paul beat Anthony Joshua, one of the best heavyweights of all time in a round. And not only that, he was making it competitive. He was showboating the entire time. Jake Paul was having fun in there with the best heavyweight in the world and almost frustrating Anthony Joshua in there. This is like how you know, like we live in Matrix. Jake Paul's stock goes nowhere but up after this. You can't downplay Jake Paul. A lot of people are saying first round, second round. A lot of people are saying that, guys. Jake Paul proved to you guys, and even to me, even though I called it, he still proved to me that he was a warrior. It's one thing to predict something. It's another thing to see your prediction come into perfect fruition. It happens a lot with me, but I still, this one blew my mind. I can't lie, guys. Just look at the size difference. Look at what we were all looking at before the fight starts. You know, I was nervous for Jake. I was like, I hope Jake doesn't get hurt, man. That's my whole thing. Like, Jake doesn't get hurt. First of all, Jake's chin's amazing, and so is Anthony Joshua, because they both took some shots. This makes boxing look bad. This makes boxing look like the quote-unquote YouTuber, who I knew wasn't just a YouTuber, man. I knew Jake Paul was legit. That's why I was trying to push you guys to know this. So before the fight, you wouldn't be surprised when something like this happens. But boxing just had their elite level, one of the best heavyweights of all time, and not even out of his, like, I know you could be like, oh, he's not in his prime anymore. It's not a Mike Tyson. It's not an old man. People are going to say this is rigged. And this is the most embarrassing part about I've noticed about the boxing community. Like, everything is rigged when they don't predict things accurately. Like, no, you guys just didn't think objectively. You didn't know Jake Paul was going to be on his bike because you don't think logically. You guys were thinking like, oh, well, Jake Paul's going to pull an Ngannou. And people keep saying, oh, Ngannou got beat worse. What was Ngannou's first mistake? He got some momentum off the Tyson Fury fight. He was like, let me sit in the pocket with Anthony Joshua and try to land something. Jake had a different game plan, which I think was the superior game plan, was get on his bike. Now, my prediction, I did say that Jake Paul was going to lose once he fatigued. Now, people are saying, oh, Jake Paul only lost because of fatigue. Well, of course, that's what happened. Like, fatigue is a part of boxing. It's not just stick and moving. If Jake Paul could have sticked and moved, that could have been a competitive fight. He already won one round. They're over a little bit under halfway through. And even the rounds he lost and was getting dropped, he was landing some clean overhands that we're going to look at and we're going to talk about in this video. First of all, I got to say, Jake Paul was... dude was having fun. I feel like there's so much clips of Jake Paul just having fun. And like, look at Logan Paul. They definitely planned this. Logan Paul was in it, getting in his head. This was like, I think, under 3 rounds down. And look what look what Logan Paul, his brother, was saying to Anthony Joshua in the corner. And knowing Anthony Joshua's a hothead, they're trying to get in his head. Just let me play this video for you guys.
What's good, bro? You the old guy now? That's crazy. Hey, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? There's 4 rounds left. You've lost every single one of them. You've lost every single round. This could be a legacy ender, AJ.
Whoo, he said you lost every single round. This could be a legacy ender, AJ. And how does AJ's legacy look after this is a good question. Like, I think he's still great. He's still one of the best. Maybe people are just, Jake Paul's just really solid, you know, because Jake Paul was making it competitive. Now, this is obviously a game plan from them to get in his head. Like, there's a reason Logan Paul's stationed at that corner. And I will say, it was actually visible of Anthony Joshua getting frustrated because Jake Paul would do things where he just jumps in a clinch. First of all, half those clinch initiations were takedown attempts, damn near. I'm going to be real. And you could tell it's because Jake Jake Paul didn't like when he was getting punched in the body a little bit in the clinch, so he resort to like almost going for takedown, which led to like Jake losing his footing a lot and all that. But I will say, Anthony Joshua, mentally, you could tell he was frustrated because he was like, why is this guy actually landing shots on me? Which we're going to actually talk about. We got to actually talk about this, guys. Jake Paul landing shots on him. Look at this. Look at like a straight jab to the face. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my rope. Like, this is real, brother. Like, this was clean, and this is not AI generated. This is just Jake Paul landing a clean overhand. Boom. On Anthony Joshua while getting backed up in the corner. Jake was finding shots on Anthony Joshua, which surprised us. He was landing a lot of triple jabs sometimes. He would time a hook. He was waiting for Joshua to walk him down, and he would throw something. I will say, guys, he was this close to knocking out Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua's chin was as sus as maybe Jake Paul thought and maybe some of us thought, this would have been a fight ender. The second that landed, bro, Jake Paul was like, sometimes I feel like I was thinking to myself, is Jake Paul fighting to survive or fighting to win? Jake Paul was fighting to win, and it could be frustrating to some boxing experts and boxing fans, but Jake Paul was fighting to win. He goes in there. He was landing clean shots on Anthony Joshua while taunting him the entire time, guys. Look at him taunting him here. Look at him tongue out like he's Jordan, just like having a ball, dude. Against Anthony Joshua, you have stuff like this. You have his brother in the corner shouting at him, yelling at him, bro. Their game plan was definitely to get AJ frustrated, and it was working. And I actually would argue Jake Paul was doing a really good job. Like I said, I thought he won the 4th round clearly, and there were some rounds he wasn't winning, but they're close. Like the first round was close because nothing really happened. Just Jake would land something, and then AJ, they both landed two strikes in the first round. It's just like, which 2 strikes do you favor? This could be a world where there was damn near tied going. Like I'm telling you guys, until Anthony Joshua started waking up, and I don't want to say Anthony Joshua started waking up. The truth of the matter is, what I said in my video came true. I said once he starts to fatigue. Jake Paul was moving a lot, and I figured he was going to fatigue from this, and that's what happened in this fight. He started fatigue. You can see his arms started to go down because he used a lot of movement in the first round, which did help him like have a competitive fight, but it also lets him fatiguing pretty bad and crashing pretty bad to a point where like he almost couldn't protect himself intelligently. Now, this is the finishing sequence after he got hit. You can see Jake's face. He's like, all right, it's over, bro. Look at Jake. He gets hit. He's like, oh, shit. Oh, wow. And look at him, bro. Bro, man, he's crazy, dude. He has a broken jaw, by the way. Like, bro. And this also leads me to believe something. I knew Jake Paul always had a big head, man. His head's massive, right? This guy could take a punch. Both guys could take a punch. You know, you can't question Jake Paul's ability to take a punch anymore because he got hit and he just ate that shit. He ate it, but he fell to a knee and he wasn't colded. I was hoping, like, hopefully Jake Paul doesn't get colded. He didn't get colded in this one, guys. He eats a punch and he goes down and he's like, I'm not gonna get up this time. He did get dropped a couple times and showed he didn't have quit in him. Jake Paul's stock, you can never, like I said, you can never say his stock went down. I think he did the right thing. I think he came in ready, you know, and I think he was landing some great shots on him. And he was making AJ miss. I had to talk. Oh, thank God I remember this slide. He was making AJ miss badly, guys. Look at this, for example, guys. This is one example out of many. Just the art of making him miss. And then you would see Logan in the background just like, woof, woof. And I got to say this, guys. When I said Jake was a legit boxer, and like I kept playing the interviews of some of these heavyweights saying they went in the box with Jake and they felt like they had to look at themselves in the mirror because they weren't able to have a lot of success that they thought they were going to have. That's probably how AJ feels right now. So like some of those elite pro boxers who went in there and boxed with Jake, because Jake's ability to make him miss. There was times where Jake was getting pressured against the ropes and like it was like, okay, surely AJ's going to land something. He would duck under and just get out the way. His ability to make AJ miss, it almost made AJ look somewhat amateur. AJ was kind of punching the air a lot of the time against Jake Paul because Jake was just doing a good job making him hit the fucking ropes. He hit the ropes, you know. The ropes took the brunt of that, you know. Jake Paul really, he was clowning. He was essentially clowning AJ, especially early on, guys, because not only was he going tit for tat with him in the strikes, was landing some big overhands at times, but he was making him hit the ropes. And after he made him hit the ropes, he would stick his tongue out. He would start emoting on him. This is why it's such a bad look for boxing, guys, because you have someone like this who's going in there and kind of clowning you in the ring when you're supposed to be going in there and finish the guy in the first 2 rounds, you know. People like Shakur said they could see Jake Paul winning a decision because Shakur had been in there with them. He sparred with them. So Shakur understood that Jake's actually really good at moving. Gervonta Davis and Jake, now we know would have went the distance. And it would have probably been a low output fight because Gervonta counterpuncher, you know, Jake. So thank God it was Anthony. So because Anthony had to put it on him and Anthony felt like, oh, his ego was getting hurt because like Anthony would run into a jab and a double jab on overhand and then always try to get his get back. You know, Anthony was actually like in the clinch sometimes, like push his head down, like tackle, like jump on him. Anthony was frustrated for good reason because Jake Paul, the YouTuber, was going in there and kind of making a mockery of boxing. He was kind of showboating. He was making boxing's elite look insignificant. No boxer at that level should be made to look like that. Like, he was making him miss like a goofball, man. And no one was giving Jake a chance except for me, really. Like, I understood what this fight was. I did understand that Anthony Joshua was going to get a win, but I knew he wasn't going to get a win from just catching Jake, because I knew Jake wasn't going to just let him catch him. I knew it was going to be because Jake Paul fatigued. Now, let's say, for example, Jake Paul came with better endurance. His game plan could have been executed a lot better. He could have went the distance and maybe even stole some rounds. You know, because I'm telling you guys, even when AJ was at his most dangerous, people don't realize this. AJ at his most dangerous was actually Jake Paul having his best chance at winning by knockout. The time where Jake landed that overhand flush wasn't just because he initiated and came forward. It's because he was getting backed up in the ropes. The reason moments like this will open up for Jake is because Jake will get backed up in a corner. He's like, I have nowhere else to go. Either I got to duck down and exit, or I could duck down and overhand him. And in this round, Jake Paul actually was dropped. Jake Paul was dropped and hurt in this round. Jake Paul was getting it, but Jake Paul even having moments where he hurt AJ was just a win in itself, guys. This is one of those things, like I said, Jake Paul lost, yes. Jake Paul's stock didn't go down. Jake Paul's stock went up. No crossover guy is going to want to fight Jake Paul anymore. Jake Paul went in there against Anthony Joshua, who's known as one of the best, if not the best heavyweight outside of Usyk in the world right now. And he went in there and had a competitive fight. People like Ngannou probably looking himself in the mirror as well, like, damn, this guy is not bad. The Ngannou Jake Paul fight would be interesting now. Of course, Jake Paul has a broken jaw, so he's going to take a long time off. But guys, Jake Paul kind of made boxing look goofy. Jake Paul kind of exposed boxing. He went in there and had a war. He had a war with Anthony Joshua and came out on the losing end, but his stock didn't go down a single time. But let me know what you guys think about this. Boxing fans saying it's scripted and all that, coping. You guys have to do that. Like, that's the X. I knew, like I said, people were going to say this before the fight. I said that before the fight. When Jake Paul makes it competitive, they're going to say, oh, well, it's scripted. It's scripted. Like, I don't know what you guys think scripted is. Like, I don't know if people watch the fight. Like, it was just nothing but Jake Paul having a good game plan, doing a lot, like a good job circling a lot. It's kind of running, essentially. So what do you want AJ to do? Chase him? And he tried to do that, but sometimes he'll walk into a shot. He's a human being. So people saying rigged and scripted, it lets me know like they're a little bit, maybe their mind doesn't work too well. Maybe they're a little bit mentally disabled. I don't know. Not trying to clown you guys, but clearly you don't know what scripted is. Like, Jake Paul had a good game plan and he fatigued, and that's why he got finished. People are saying, oh, AJ just started trying. No, AJ just didn't start trying. It's that Jake Paul got fatigued. Jake Paul stopped moving. Jake Paul started standing his base more. Jake Paul started fighting with his hands low. Did you watch the fight? Like, open your eyes. This is for the idiots who say scripted, because I know there's going to be a couple comments saying scripted. Oh, I just feel like that was fake. But yeah, you guys are a little bit dumb. Take offense to that. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. That's it for me. Jake Paul kind of exposed boxing. God bless. 2, 3, 4.